What is something that you are never fucking buying again? A decision often made in rage over the quality of the product. Edit. Stories are welcome by the way. Edit 2. Before anyone goes there, I would like to say that my mom is not an option. Edit 3. 20,000 comments. It seems that I asked a question that quite a few of you have an opinion on directed hate towards. Please like, subscribe and comment so I can create more videos for you. Fucking home warranty. Bought a house that had just hit 10 years, got all the original appliances. The appliances are covered, they said, but only if you buy a home warranty. Sure. It only lasts a year, but these things might break in that year. It's only $500. Better safe than sorry. Turns out, shit does break. The water heater had a problem, the fridge had a problem, none of it caught by inspection. I go to the warranty people, it's $75 for someone to evaluate it. Cool, I think. Cheaper than buying new shit. Then everything gets denied. The most random fuck reasons are given to me. I argue, am told that was what the inspector said. I get the transcripts and guess what? All of their inspectors said that this should be covered. The warranty company lied to me. I throw the lies in their face and get back, well, it doesn't matter, it still isn't covered. One of the dudes, a plumber I later had come back to help, said these companies never cover anything. The reason on the water heater. Rust on the unit. He had told them the rust didn't cause the problem, and was normal. To them, any potential problem is reason for denial. Got a dent in the unit. Denied. Got a scratch. Denied. Here's the shit of it, though. This was all in my first 30 days. Like any reasonable person, I thought I could just call up and cancel and get some maybe of my money back. You know what the woman tells me on the phone? It is not legal to return a home warranty in the first year. We're not talking PMI, or fire insurance, or disaster shit, or whatever. This was just a warranty on things like appliances, and can apply to things like structure. I told the woman she worked for crooks and hung up. So if you're buying a house, and they want $500-600 to insure your home for a year, do what my plumber said. Save your money to do the repairs yourself. I'm still mad about it and it's been like 3 years. Fuck. Edit. Fudged a word out of rage. Edit. For those curious, company was HSA. Fuck those guys. This is how insurance companies work. My aunt works for a huge insurance company and we fight about it all the time. A few seemingly sweet people dedicated to taking your money in the front office, and a whole army of people waiting to find any reason to deny your claim waiting in the back room. I'll keep this short and sweet. I was very thirsty one night shift and thought it would be a good idea to buy 1L of sugar-free aloe water. After guzzling the entire thing I felt quite refreshed. I downed a pitter and my lunch was complete. Fast forward an hour later and I started to feeling a rumbling in my stomach and the urge to pass gas. I decided to hold my fart in at the time and visit the closest washroom. At that very moment I emptied my entire stomach contents and more into the toilet in the most violent ass explosion of my life. For the remaining 4 hours of my shift everything coming out of my ass was liquid. I learned that the aloe water was a very close cousin of the sugar-free gummy bears. 10/10. Will not buy sugar-free aloe water again. Warning. Aloe is a mild laxative. So is coconut water, so don't guzzle that either. We were really confused about why my daughter kept having liquid hits a while back. Then I realized she was drinking a ton of coconut water. She loves the stuff, but now she only gets a little. An inkjet printer. I've probably bought more than a dozen of them over the years, and while they produce outstanding color out of the box, unless you're printing full color on a regular basis, like every day, then you're going to get clogs and failures. And don't even get me started on the whole you're out of yellow ink, so you can't scan anything now with the all-in-ones. About 2 years ago I bought a Brother MFC 9340 CDW laser printer for my mother. A few months later I bought the same printer for myself. No more clogged ink, duplex printing that doesn't saturate the paper, consistent print quality, wider variety of paper to choose from, and overall cheaper than an inkjet. I'm never going back. Edit. Thanks for the gold, mysterious stranger. I just found a brother MFC at the thrift store for $10. Said, replace drum soon when I powered it on in store. Okay, bought it, brought it home. Cleaned it up. Sent a test page. Worked fine, printed well. Cool. Sent multiple pages. Jammed like a Grateful Dead reunion. WTF. I googled the issue and found that there is a small plastic hammer-like thing on the left-hand side that strikes down on a cork pad to lift up the paper to the rollers, and over time the cork breaks down and gets sticky. 15 minutes later that pad is covered by a nice new shiny piece of scotch tape, and the printer works perfectly. I then went to Amazon and spent $34 on a new drum and 2 additional toner cartridges. $45 in, and now I've got the next 7,000 pages I'll print covered. Great buy all around. We had a buddy named Dave who once brought over some Klondike bars for a game night, and left the remainder in the fridge. When he came back a week later, he was horrified and livid that his Klondike bars, which were left in the fridge of 3 bachelors, had been eaten without his permission. He made such a stink about it, that us 3 guys living there, as a prank, filled the freezer to the brim with Klondike bars. We ate them and ate them, but the stock never depleted. Some jackass would keep the joke going by buying enough Klondike bars to fill it back to full. And when you're young and a cheapskate, you'll eat a Klondike bar before going to find real food. Don't get me wrong, ice cream and chocolate are great, but man, I could go my whole life without eating another Klondike bar, and that was already 15 years ago. Edit. Fucking Dave, man. Edit 2. I'm telling Dave his neurotic bullshit from 2002 got me Reddit gold. Edit 3. I remembered another Dave story, posted it, somewhere down in the thread, Reddit webpage, that guy, man. Edit 4. Texted Dave to tell him I was milking his bullshittery for sweet karma. He replies, dare I ask? Perhaps the one about daving. No, I posted that one, here, Reddit webpage. Edit 5. Someone made our fucking Dave. Who knows if it'll live, but I shared another story there anyways. I always thought that guest leftovers in your fridge should be treated like a tip. It's not compulsory, but whether it's beer or some food, it's like the guest's way of paying you back just a little for having them in your house and dealing with the cleanup. There's been plenty of times when I've left some unopened chip packets or 2-3 beers in the fridge and gone, let the host enjoy them. That's why I can't help but think someone is a cheapskate when they go and collect their last 2 beers from the fridge at the end of a party to go home. If it's a 6-pack or more, by all means go and grab it, but otherwise you're just being petty. TLDR, if you leave the scene of a gathering party with food or beverages left over, they're fair game for the occupants. Anything from finish line. A couple of years ago, I needed a new pair of shoes. Luckily, I had a Finish Line gift card. I had never shopped there before, but I'd save money with a gift card, so I walk in and buy a pair of shoes. The cashier asks if I would like coupons sent to me in the mail. I figured, sure, why not? So I wrote down my address and everything. Got my shoes. Everything's cool. Fast forward to 7 months later, I have a $60 charge on my bank account from Sports Illustrated, something like that. It resembled Sports Illustrated, so, being confused, I call Sports Illustrated and tell them I was charged for subscribing even though I could give a shit less about sports. The man basically tells me sorry about that, I don't know how that could happen. The charges should be reversed within about 3 days. I figured, alright, good, this shit's finally over. Fast forward 2 weeks later, I realize that the charge has not been reversed whatsoever. I decide that I'm going to call back again after work and talk to them about it yet again. So, after work, I check my bank account one last time to see if it was reversed. Not only was it not reversed, but I had another charge that said something like SPRTSILA Kids, Sports Illustrated Kids, for another $60. So basically, after he told me the charges would be reversed after 3 days, they weren't after 2 weeks, and then they had the balls to charge me yet again. This time I was pissed and called immediately. The tone in the lady's voice seemed like she had been dealing with this all day or something. She sighed and said, "Have you purchased anything from Finish Line recently?" And I had to think about it. Then it hit me that I did about 7 months ago, and I said yeah. Why? And she said, because this has been a problem with everyone who purchased from Finish Line. I'll have the charges reversed. This time I really will. And after the phone call, I called the bank to tell them about the whole thing. Everything was refunded back to me in the end, but after dealing with all of that shit, I'm never buying from Finish Line again. Who the fuck do you think you are, just subscribing everyone to Sports Illustrated unwillingly? I don't even give a shit about sports. I just wanted to buy a simple pair of shoes and that's it. TL. Dr. Finish Line signed me up for Sports Illustrated without my permission. I just wanted to buy a pair of shoes. Tried reversing the charges, but instead they subscribed me twice. Had to call the bank to actually fix it. Don't shop at Finish Line. A Lenovo laptop from India. I bought a Y500 from them, and it was the worst experience ever. I know most people think the company is excellent, but their after-sales service is simply awful. 2 days after delivery, I found that the touchpad wouldn't work properly. After repeatedly emailing them, asking for repair centers, a repair tech, or any number of other things, I was told that I had applied for a replacement too late, since I had bypassed the 1-week replacement limit. I asked them again about repairing the laptop, and they sent over a technician who knew less than I did about laptops. He left the house having spoiled the screen by scratching it with a screwdriver and twisting the fan blade so that the laptop wouldn't start anymore. With infinite patience, I called the repair center and asked for a repair tech to fix the things the previous guy had done wrong. They made excuses for days and days, doing absolutely nothing. If you think Comcast is bad, this was far worse. I was misquoted saying the issue has been fixed and they closed the case number, telling me I would have to go through the entire process again. I was given a Lenovo official help center number. This is when I learned that the guys I was speaking to were simply a small repair shop that Lenovo had contracted all their Bombay customers to. After waiting on the Lenovo helpline for 15 minutes, listening to shitty elevator music, I was told that the help center was inactive, and that I should call up another number. The very same fucking number that belonged to the repair shop. I fucking lost it. The worst part is, in India, it's not possible to sue a company and expect speedy resolution. All of this was happening a few weeks before my exams, and I had a CMC project due for submission. In the end, I had to give up this new, almost never used, laptop to a repair shop that I actually trusted. Their service was far better than anything Lenovo had ever offered me so far, even if it was paid. I ended up using my old HP DV6000 for my exams. I managed to submit the project on time, but seriously, fuck Lenovo. TLDR, fuck Lenovo for getting me stuck in a feedback loop. Must be a thing with Lenovo India. I had the same problem in the US. It's an own issue with the Y500, and they immediately offered to send me a new laptop. Sorry you got a raw deal from the local guys. I will never go with my current ISP fucking ever again if I have an option. The amount of bullshit I've had to deal with is just insane. First, they bought our previous ISP. I called to cancel the phone line we got for free along with a free router. New ISP tried to charge for it, but say they'll of course remove it. Get confirmation letter. Get another one. In the end, I got one letter every day for over 3 weeks confirming the exact same thing. Still shows up on my bill. Get charged for TV. It's included in my rent. I call them and they said sure, we'll of course remove it. It shows up on next bill. I call again. They claim the bill was printed before my call. Just pay less than what it says on the bill. Next month, it's still there. They claim the exact same thing, printed before I called. I call the rep on his bullshit. All he does is cough and ask if there is anything else I need help with. I mildly lose my shit at this point, but I finally get rid of the extra charge on the next bill. This was all in the span of 3 months. Never again, if I have the option. Previous ISP worked flawlessly for over a year. What infuriates me the most is that this is most likely their modus operandi, counting on people not reading too closely what they are getting charged for. Granted, they are reasonably priced at 100 MBs for an equivalent of $15 a month, but based on their customer service and general inability to do even the simplest of tasks without several weeks of issues, I'll go with another one next time. Edit. Alright, some sloppy conversion on my part, it's closer to $24 mo, still reasonable in my eyes. Third-party extended warranty. I bought our first family car a few months after getting married. A 5-year-old Dodge Magnum with 50k on the odometer. They kinda just threw the warranty in and I didn't realize it until I was signing papers, and got to the extended warranty page. Asked what the fuck this was, the salesman ended up getting me to go for it. It's only $1,200, pretty cheap peace of mind, right? Right. I'm a family man now. Hate to have any pesky repairs get in my way. I never used it. Needed tie rods one time, but they were considered a wear item, so it was out of pocket. Instead of the extended warranty, do your research. Buy cars that don't have overcomplicated parts that break down, or require expensive services. I don't buy anything with a timing belt anymore, only chains. Do your maintenance the way your manual says, and consider using the severe schedule. Join a forum for your particular car. If the thingamajig shakes when you turn on the doohickey, you can bet someone else's thingamajig had shaken before, so look it up. Most of all, this is what you keep an emergency fund for. If you're maintaining your vehicle properly, things shouldn't break, but if they do, have some money tucked away for emergency repairs. Extended warranties will never save you money over the long run. They are basically a gamble. The company selling it is gambling that you won't need it, and you are gambling that you will. The company needs to make money on it, though, otherwise they wouldn't sell it, so guess which side the odds favor. Ray, timing belts. There is nothing inherently wrong with them. Unexpected failures do rarely happen, but generally there is a known lifespan to them. Replace before that time and drive confidently. If you're really paranoid, replace them 10,000 miles early. It also depends on the engine configuration. An interference engine means that the valves and pistons occupy the same space at different times. If the timing belt breaks, they smash into each other and cost you a shitload of money. Non-interference engines have valves and pistons that never come into contact even when the timing belt breaks. You just coast to a bumpy stop and have the car towed and a new belt installed. Cable television. Cord cutter for life. Edit. Great responses here and congrats to everyone who also made the switch. As for you sports fans, I can't really help you too much on this front, as far as HD streams go, as I'm not a sports fan at all. What I can tell you is that you can find streams out there for your sports to watch live or recorded games easily enough after broadcast. There's quite a few XBMC Kodi add-ins for sports streams out there. My setup for years has been a custom-built HTPC running XBMC Kodi paired with an HD dual tuner card plugged into an OTA HD antenna. The system handles everything for me as far as entertainment goes. Completely automated fetching of HD movies, HD TV shows, console and handheld emulation, Atari 2600 PS2, and music. The only costs that I incur each month is the $39.99 I pay to Comcast for my 120-bit internet and an $8 month service fee I pay to the Usenet provider. Ben & Jerry's changed the Heath bars that they used to some tasteless, disgusting hippie crap about a year ago. I get that they're all about conservation and all, but they screwed up my absolute favorite, go to ice cream of all time. I was in Vermont when they invented Heath Bar Crunch about 25 or 30 years ago and they were giving it out as samples. I fell in love right then and there, but they have wronged and cut me deep. Never again unless here they go back to the old Heath bars. Girly shit. Give me man razors, man deodorant, man shower gel, man everything. Half the price, lasts way longer than crappy girl products. Edit. Apparently I'm Hitler because I said this. Relax. If you want to use girly products, go ahead. If you want to use men's products, go ahead. I personally find men's antiperspirant, Rexona, to be my choice of deodorant because I'm very active and work outside. Every brand of men's razors have lasted longer than my women's. My men's work boots last amazingly better and are sturdier than any women's work boots I have had in the past. That's my personal experience. Cheap or used tires. A cheap mattress. Bottom shelf alcohol. Edit. For the alcohol, I generally mean that if I'm getting a drink at the bar, I don't mind spending an extra $1 or $2 for name brand instead of watered down rubbing alcohol. Yes, I believe the hangover is worse with cheap spirits. Also, if you can't afford a ride home, you can't afford to go out drinking. For tires, I agree that if you have an old beater, you shouldn't be spending $1,000 on tires. However, I've gotten screwed over a few times with used tires that seemed like an excellent deal, only to be replaced in 10,000 miles. I put a pair of Toyo MTs on my old truck and they lasted me longer than the truck and still looked new after 50,000 miles. Plus I had one punctured from an accident and it was replaced for free because I spent an extra $20 for that service up front. I can't stand seeing new sports cars that someone spent good money on and won't spend more than $300 on tires. Everyone's saying if it separates you from the ground, this is exactly what I meant. Also gas BBQs. If you only grill a few times a year, go ahead and spend under $500 on one. Just don't be upset when you can't get parts and have to replace the whole thing within 5 years. If you are a BBQ enthusiast that loves grilling for friends and family 5 times a week, spend $4,000 on a Twin Eagles or Lynx. It'll be the last grill you ever buy and sear a steak that would make Ramsay's mouth water. Yes, a $150 Weber charcoal kettle is an amazing grill that will last forever, but cooking 5 times a week on charcoal and needing more cooking area with different temperatures gets old real quick. Plus a big green egg will smoke any Weber. I've spent the last 7 years designing outdoor kitchens and selling grills while having a private BBQ chef on staff. I think I'm just a bit of a snob when it comes to my food lol. Edit number 2. Dog food or cat food. I'm not sorry, but I believe that if you can't afford to feed your best friend with something better than dollar store kibble and bits, you can't afford your animal. Yes, there are situations where you have to budget to the cheaper dry cereal crap, but no animal should be forced to eat that stuff every day of their lives. Beats headphones. Edit. So here's the deal. 5 years ago, I made the worst purchase known to man. I bought the studios after demoing them in a shop and enjoying the sound they gave out. Stupidly, I didn't bother demoing any cheaper known brand headphones. After 5 years of the headphones falling apart, and just constant trouble with the absolutely fucking awful build quality, they finally fell apart beyond repair. I actually hadn't touched them in about 6 months. I opened a carry case to get them out and a small metal barrel fell out of the headband that connects the ear cup to it. Never ever buy these piece of shit headphones no matter how tempting. I enjoyed the sound but they aren't worth the price tag. Go for Audio-Technica ATHEM 50Xs instead, or just research. Any game as a printer. Can't believe some gamers haven't packed doing that shit in. How many times are we going to get burned? Edit. Yes, I can see a point in pre-ordering physical copies of very popular games that may quickly run out of stock, COD, Pokemon etc., if you really want to be playing it quickly. For digital releases, especially on PC, I think there is just no need. No amount of pre-order bonus gun skin packs will make up for if the game turns out to be arse. And still, I would say you should be very, very careful about pre-ordering physical console games too, ideally avoiding it if possible. Sprint. I switched back to Verizon after 1 day. Maybe it's just my area, but Sprint gave me little to no data on the road, and the calls I did get sounded like they were coming from a goddamn waterfall. I rely on GPS because I'm terrible with directions. Thanks to Sprint's crappy service, my dad beat my ass with a set of jumper cables. I arrived late to my sister's graduation because I couldn't find the place, and my dad had apparently called me 4 times but they never showed up on my phone because Sprint sucks balls. How does this guy get me every time? His stories sound believable and normal, and then his dad always whips out the fucking jumper cables. I love it. Thank you, Jumper Cable Man. Mazda. I purchased a brand new Mazda Protege 5 in 2002. Over the next few years the hatch started to rust out. Mazda never acknowledged or offered any kind of fix. In 2007, maybe 2006, they issued a recall for that very problem as it was widespread on all their Proteges. The recall did not include 2002 models even though the issue was the same. So after complaining and arguing for 4 years they offered to fix everyone else's car, but not mine. Fuck them. Heroin. 4 months and counting. Edit Garbormate has a great description of addiction and how to overcome it. YouTube webpage. It wasn't until I became comfortable with my pain that I was able to move forward. It was horrific. I was so desolate inside. But as long as you keep moving forward, and do your best to surround yourself with positive people, you can make it through. Whatever you do, don't try to escape from your pain, but be with it. Double edit addiction is a horrible thing, and just because someone is having trouble ceasing use doesn't mean they are out to hurt you. They are just having difficulty dealing with their pain. If you have an environment where you're going to scorn them for their behavior, hurt them for trying to escape their pain, it's just going to exacerbate things. They must be met with love and compassion. There is a comic based on this drug experiment called Rat Park Drug Experiment comic about addiction. Stuart Macmillan Comics webpage, where they found the drug users related social options. The isolated rats used, whereas when they were placed in the community with others, even when the choice was there they used less or not at all. I eventually stopped seeing the world as my prison. It took me a while to overcome the trauma, but it was worth it. Don't ever give up. If anyone is having struggles feel free to PM me. Subway store number 1444, Indianapolis, Indiana. Starts with the owner's wife, fat, foreign, doesn't want to be there, saying, "You want cheese on that?" Then escalating to asking me like 20 times, "You want cheeses on that?" Everybody likes cheese. Till I realize, she's bored, she's fucking with me, because she really doesn't give a fuck if I come back or not. Time passes. I go in again. Walk up to the counter to order. There's a sandwich sitting on top of the thingy. Some idiot comes up to me, looks at the sandwich, fucking rings it up, and says that's $4.70. Please, I say, what, that isn't mine. Well, whose is it? Dumbus says. How the fuck should I know? I don't work here. I yell. People behind the counter are oblivious that there's a customer waiting, and b, a retard is manning the register. I finally say, man, it's like the Three Stooges are running the show. Whereupon, one of the idiots behind the counter finally notices me and says, "Did you call me stupid?" I repeated what I said about the Stooges. "Are you sure you didn't call me stupid?" He asks again. Motherfucker was trying to pick a fight with me. Minutes later, I finally get my order, a breakfast sandwich. I get to work, sit down, and start to eat. It was spoiled. I will never ever again go to a Subways. They are staffed by idiots, and they let their food rot. Another iPhone. I've had them for years, multiple versions, but I'm sick of it now. I got locked out of my account a couple of months ago, and even after I called to verify my identity, they still kept me locked out for 24 hours. It's standard, like a fucking punishment for having login issues. I've been pretty unhappy with my phone for a while, and now I'm going to try something else when the time comes. I just got my first iPhone 6, and I don't get all the hate. It operates smoothly, the camera is amazing, and it works extremely well as a phone, which I haven't experienced with a mobile since I bought my first Nokia over a decade ago. Anything Apple, they just did it again. Apple removes YouTube app from older gen Apple TV, because it's their set-top box that they're essentially loaning to you. Fuck Apple. And any of you fucked Apple fan drones can save your breath about how it's actually Google's fault, or it's how Apple maintains the reliability of its hardware, or whatever other mantra bullshit you have for this, because fuck you too. Allowing a corporation control and the ability to take the stuff you buy from them, where they can arbitrarily move your property to an end-of-life status is utter fucking bullshit, and Apple needs to be prohibited from doing this. End rant.